Forum. Welcome, everyone. Ian, you can start the recording. Thank you.
Recording started. I'm going to hand it over to Tom, and I hope you all have a very good meeting.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. Thank you all for joining. Yeah, Josh didn't realize he had a conflict tonight. He has another meeting that he had to run. So Ian stepped in to help us out here. So we're kind of on our own. Tom volunteered to be the pilot for the Zoom. And Steve's going to be taking our minutes for tonight. So thank you both for stepping up to that. Hopefully everyone's doing well these days. We're made it through the month of April almost here. Time is flying. But let's look at the agenda. So we have a pretty short agenda tonight. But obviously we want to sort of firm things up for the public forums, and that includes the presentation and setting the dates. And I think once we get that done, then we'll pretty much be be completed for the meeting tonight. The first item is to approve the minutes from our last meeting, which was 3 weeks ago on April 7th. I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes from someone.
I, Thomas Golden, motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting.
I, Darren Boston, second the motion.
Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Tom. Any updates or questions on the minutes? Okay, if not, then we'll take a roll call vote on this. I guess I'll lead the roll call if that's okay.
That's fine.
Darren,
Yes.
Janet,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Scott.
Yes.
Thank you all. The motion has passed. All right. But Steve, as far as taking minutes, you've seen the way Josh does it.
Yeah, I'm doing exactly like that. So
Great. All right. Thank you.
Just real quick, do you want me to email him the minutes, or do you want me to send them out similar to how he does?
Probably
should go through him.
Yeah, maybe go through him if that's okay. Just send him the bullet points that you have, and
Got it.
he should be able to fill it in. Okay, it does not look like we have anyone for public comment tonight. At least the first opportunity here, so we'll move beyond that one. There's no old business for tonight, and that brings us to the new business, which is to begin to talk about the pre-zone. I'm getting a little bit of feedback. Can you guys hear that?
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't hear anything.
Tom, were you hearing it?
I hear it. Janet, can you try to talk again real quick?
Hello, how you doing?
Wasn't you either. I was trying to watch the microphones on the right to see if I could figure out where it was coming from, but
She was unmuted. I think it was actually coming from her. Well, actually, no, I don't know who it is.
I'm hearing it now. Yeah, it's like almost sounds like somebody's talking in the background. Well, I guess we'll have to live with it at this point. Okay, I sent out a copy of a draft presentation. Must have been a couple of weeks ago for you guys to take a look at. So I have it on my machine here. I'm going to share my screen, and we can kind of walk through it and decide if that's the right format that we want to use, if we want to change it, however we want to do it. But that was just my attempt at putting something on paper that we could at least begin to discuss. So let me share my screen. Can you all see that?
Yes.
Yep.
Yep, looks good.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So as far as the agenda, I thought we should have at least one background slide to sort of highlight, what we've been doing for the past 10 or 11 months. I inserted a strategy slide that just kind of gave folks a little bit of reminder about what we were charged to do and how we were going to set out to do it. I had one slide that listed the general recommendations that, sort of span the whole charter. And then I went in and had one slide for each article. So there was 10 separate slides, one for each article. And then another slide, which just talked about some potential options for the rollout of the recommendations, and then next steps. So what we'll do is let's talk about each. So let me just go back. Does that agenda, as far as, the way I've laid it out, seem reasonable?
I think so.
Yep, looks good to me.
Okay. We may come back later and, make changes to this, but at least for the time being. So what we'll do is we'll look at each slide, and, I'd be interested in hearing your feedback, your input on what I've got here. Now, obviously, this is a very busy slide, and I don't like busy slides, but I tried to put at least some key items in here. We were formed in May of last year. We had one resignation early on, but then we had a committee, pretty much a firm final committee of 7, and listed the names here. I said we met 2 to 3 times a month, depending on the month. And I counted up the meetings. I think tonight makes actually 25, so I'll change that. So we've met 25 times over the last year. And then I just highlighted sort of by quarter, or every 3 months, kind of what we did. So for the first 3 months, we got organized. We spent a lot of time reviewing information, gathering data. We established our baseline priorities and assumptions, and we finalized a schedule and a timeline. That's pretty much what we did from June through August. September through November, we spent most of our time working on a citizen survey. We developed it, we distributed it. We held public forums, and we also distributed an employee questionnaire. So that was a major effort to do data gathering. And then from December through April, we really started looking in depth at the charter. We developed a tool to help guide us through our tracking of our recommendations. And we also reconciled the feedback that we got from the public forums and the citizen survey. So do you think that is enough as far as background? Do you think it's too much, or do you think it's sort of spot on?
We're going to also have a narrative to accompany this, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Then
I don't think it's too much.
I think it might be. I think it might be. There's a lot of words on that slide.
Yep. There are a lot of words. I mean, I could eliminate maybe a couple of these in here. Just have three sub-bullets under each time frame.
And what do you think of breaking that into 2 slides? Take the quarterly breakouts, those last 3 bullet points and the sub points, make that another slide.
So the first slide would just be this.
Yeah, I mean, that would be one way to make it less just cumbersome of an opening slide.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine.
I agree.
Okay. I'm not going to do it now because, but I'm going to just write myself notes to do that. So this is slide number 3. We're going to split it into 2. Okay. Is there anything else we want to say other than this?
I like the content. I think the content's great.
Do
Okay.
you think it's useful at all to have one resignation early? Is that even needed?
Maybe not. I mean, that's a good point. Do we even need to say that?
How early was early?
Well, I think he missed.
2
I
of the
think it
first
was
3.
within the
I don't think it
first
adds
month.
value to our mission.
Okay. So if we So that first slide then is going to not have a lot on it.
It doesn't need to
Basically.
though, right? Like you're breaking people in. It take 10 seconds on it and move on.
Yep, that's true. Yep.
I firmly believe in the rule of 32 that you should have more than 32 words of content on a slide, but
Yeah. Okay. So that's good. So I remove that one line and I'll split it right after the virtual Zoom. Okay. Can we move on to the next one?
Yep.
Okay. This is the strategy slide. I sort of went back and looked at a couple of the prior presentations that we had done to the council. So there's nothing new here. We've already said this before, but for the audience, the public forum audience, some people may not have seen this. So, our main, one of our main, objectives here was to minimize the amount of rework, and that we wanted to reuse or use and utilize the efforts, the prior efforts, the 2014 CRC and the 2017 rules and procedure recommendations as a baseline. So we didn't start with a clean sheet of paper. We utilized what they had done and, went from there. We also, wanted to make sure that, we created realistic expectations. We couldn't solve world hunger, with this effort here. We wanted to identify those key areas that we thought would make improvements to our town. And based on the 10 years of experience with the charter, we were going to depend on feedback from the citizens and from the key employees to help, steer us in the right direction there. We were going to look at fixing some of the key issues in our town and overall enhance the clarity and consistency of the charter. And then finally, we just wanted to make sure that the citizens and key employees, had an opportunity to have input, given that the last survey was done back in 2008, 12 years ago. Any feedback on that?
I'm going to ask, what does TGSC stand for?
Oh, that's the Town Government Study Committee.
Okay.
I can expand that. Hey, do you think it is good enough at a high level
yep.
to explain our strategy?
I think
Think
so.
so? Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, the next slide. I inserted this one only because the prior slide, sort of ended with the survey, and whoever's going to talk this through could say, for example, here's what we ended up getting from the citizen survey. We had 13 questions. There were 114 responses. It went on for 37 days, and we had, these were the 4 key takeaways that were going to impact the charter. But we also got information as well that could be utilized maybe in the administrative code or just within the town management structure to help improve in those areas as well. So I thought there might be some value to add here, but I'm okay with removing it. Oops, sorry.
I like having it in there. We did the effort, we got the information. We shouldn't just let that information just disappear. This is a good opportunity to present it to the council.
Okay.
Yeah, and then people will realize that what they wrote is being looked at.
Yep. Yeah, and we can also say that, all the details behind this are available to anybody that wants it. We have the details, so for further use by anyone. Okay, then if everyone's okay with it, we'll, at least for the time being, we'll leave this in there. So now we get into the recommendations. So this slide covers the general recommendations. So the first thing we did was we updated definitions. We added 4 new definitions: appointing authority, city official, MGL, which is Mass General Law, and we defined recall. We also updated the charter to reflect gender neutral language. We updated the charter to reflect the fact that we are under a city form of government. So we changed all references of town to city. We standardized, or we, what's the right word here? We updated any references to Mass General Law to reflect the same format for usage consistency. And then we also updated, numerous grammatical errors throughout the charter. I couldn't think of anything else that we did at a general level, but I'm certainly, maybe if you guys can think of anything else that we did, we can add it here, but these were the main items.
Should we add those hot topic areas, or you have that somewhere else?
Hi, Cleone.
Hi, sorry.
It's all right. I'm not sure the hot topic. Oh, you mean,
The time limit, right? Because that was a big issue. And then the number of votes. We went back and forth on that one, so I don't even remember if we settled down. I'm just come back from vacation, y'all, so I apologize. If we settled on the number of signatures that district level folks needed.
I think that's article specific, though. I think that gets touched on later.
Okay.
yeah, you're right.
Like, this is just stuff that, like, grammatical updates that apply to every single article and honestly almost every paragraph of the charter, right? Like, you don't need to rehash it every article 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Understood. Thanks for that clarification.
Okay, well, if anyone can think of anything that I missed, then we can add it here. So there's one slide for the general recommendations. Then we get into the article specific. So what I did was I actually went through the charter, the version that we have updated in green that shows all the changes that we've made. So really the only thing that I could see in Article 1 was that we removed the definitions and put them at the beginning of the charter. We took them out of Article 1 and they're actually before Article 1. But I could not see any other changes other than the general changes that we made. We changed town to city, and there were some grammatical changes, but I could not see anything specific to Article 1 that we did. So this slide obviously doesn't have a lot on it, but that's okay. It just says that this article was pretty stable and didn't require a lot of updating.
The only other updating was just changing the word town to city.
Yeah, and we've already covered that on the previous slide. So, all right, so that would be Article 1. Article 2, now on the other hand, this was a very, busy article. So my question here is, am I too detailed here in terms of identifying all the changes that we made? Should we only pull out certain changes, key changes, or should we maybe break this into 2 slides and keep everything here? I mean, it's obviously too busy the way it is. But I would say, if we wanted to look at some of the key ones, the stipend down here, this is key.
And I think, this needs to be at least 2 slides. And it might not be a bad idea to have a little blurb or something explains the reasoning why, or at least in the presentation, be prepared to explain why. Why did we decide to adjust the district counselor term vacancy? Why did we go through that process and those sorts of things?
So are you suggesting we do that throughout the whole presentation, right? For every recommendation?
Yeah, I don't know if we need to have it on the PowerPoint, but at least be prepared to answer the question.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Maybe in some other document that we send forward, have essentially what you have on the slides, but then also the logic for the change.
Yeah, so in a PowerPoint, you have another view on this. It's called the talking points or the notes page.
Yes.
So we could basically have, basically have the notes that you're talking about here that no one would see but us.
Right.
Okay,
And I
so
think you
this,
could present that with the notes as what goes to the individual town council members.
okay. So
Just a thought.
I guess my first question is, does everyone think we should keep all the content for Article 2 the way it is, but just break it into 2 slides?
It definitely should be 2 slides. I remember we spend a lot of time on section 2 and 3, and I think even 4. Those were the ones that took us the longest. And then as we moved along, we seemed to flew by the other ones, but there really wasn't that much to have controversy or change or whatever. So it'd be hard to shorten it per se, because there is a lot to the article, but it definitely needs to be 2 slides,
Yeah.
at least 2 slides.
So I guess what I'm
Even
struggling
3.
with,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I was gonna say maybe even 3 slides. Have 2.1, 1 slide, 2.6, a second slide, and then the last 3 on a slide by themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess what I'm struggling with is in this presentation, do we need to cover every recommendation that we've made, or just highlight the key recommendations?
Well, I think if you're gonna do the key ones, you have to make a determination what a
What's
key
key?
recommendation is.
Right.
I mean, they all seem pretty important. I'm just looking back through them. I'd remember what we did, but it seems so long ago now.
I'm okay with keeping them if you want. If everybody wants to keep them all, then we obviously have to split this into 2 or 3 slides.
Right.
I do like Scott's suggestion about, sort of having an explanation, a brief explanation as to why we did what we did. That's going to require another go around of this, because I'm not going to necessarily remember every reason. I'm going to need help from you guys to populate that. But now this is the busiest slide out of all of them, because we obviously spent a lot of time here. But so I think we can break this slide up into 2 or 3 slides. And I'll do both and see what it looks like. The term limits, the stipend, those are 2 controversial items. This one could be controversial. 72 hours to 30 days. Remember, we changed the effective time period. That could be controversial. Posting something on the city's website, that's not a key thing.
Ed, with 2.7a, keep in mind that the current charter requires 30 days. It was the prior recommendation to change it to 72 hours.
The Rules and Procedures Committee, yeah.
Right.
So change it from back, should I say back to 30 days?
Or to keep it at 30 days and to reject the Rules and Procedures Committee.
Okay, I'll just leave it at that for now. Okay, well, sounds like everyone believes that we should probably keep all this here as far as the content.
Yes.
Okay. By the way, I don't feel like we need to vote on each individual slide here. We're having a discussion and, you know, this is not going to be a final document tonight. We'll have to have another review of it probably next week because we meet on the 5th, next Wednesday. But in the interim, I'll make all the changes to it. Okay, let's go to slide 9. So this is Article 3. Elected officials. To me, the content on this slide is about right, I think. It's not overpowering. It's very readable. So this is where we have the recall provision. We adopted the rules and procedures verbiage with some minor grammatical changes. We voted that the city clerk would still stay elected. Matthew, I forget his last name, reached out to me last week and wanted me to send him the section 3.2 that we had in our current version of the charter. I guess he wanted to review it one last time, and then he's going to send me back any further updates that I may or may not have. So if he does send that to me, then that would be something else we'd have to vote on later on. But right now, you know, we obviously made the amendments that they requested. Okay, everyone good with this one? And please keep me honest on this. If you guys, I would really appreciate it if everybody could go through the charter like I did and make sure that I didn't miss something here. You all have a copy. You all have a copy of this presentation. So, you know, if you've already done it, great. But maybe after tonight, if you want to go through it and make sure that I haven't missed anything, that would be great.
Well, Ed, can I make a recommendation on that?
Sure.
If if we each took an article, took the slide deck, and then took the charter, that might be an opportunity to write down the rationale for each thing and kind of knock off 2 objectives with one shot.
I like that. I like that a lot.
So if we get to the end, maybe we could all volunteer for a article or 2.
Okay. All right. Excellent. Thank you. Okay. So that's Article 3. Moving on to Article 4, Town Manager. So I highlighted here, actually made them bold, some of the key points, so it stands out. So, you know, we actually gave the town manager a 5-year renewable term. We said that the town manager must serve at the will of the council and is bound by whatever legislative policy action the city council takes. We also added that the town manager would effectively engage with the city council to develop long-term goals, would engage in regular 2-way effective communication in multiple formats, would conduct no less than quarterly informational sessions with departments and community-based organizations to promote collaboration. And then we did some updates to the absence here. When a city manager needs to take an absence, who can cover. So those were the main items in Article 4 that I found. I actually kind of like this by bolding these things. It just kind of highlights what the key point is, right? Rather than having to read through the whole section. Any comments on Article 4? If not, I'll move to Article 5. So this is another one that we did very minimal work on, but this was where we changed, we made the town attorney appointed by the city council and also gave him or her a 5-year renewable term. And that was basically it in Article 5. Article 6 was the financial management section. This is where in section 6.3C, we beefed up the mid-year budget to actual comparison. Remember, Mike said he kind of does this anyways, but it wasn't written anywhere. So we, made sure it was in the charter. We added under the capital improvement that there would be a list of currently approved projects and their status. And we clarified the annual independent audit. Providing input as needed to the independent auditor to help identify any matters of concern with respect to internal controls. This is the city council would form an audit, well, as part of the audit committee, we just strengthened what the committee would be responsible for doing. Okay.
I have a question only because I'm looking at, mine's not in color, so I can't tell necessarily what's in green, but I can tell by the gray. Did we do anything to section 6.4D? I have a lot highlighted on that, but I'm not sure what version I'm looking at now. But
hold on a minute. I have the charter open.
it's highlighted, but I don't know.
6.4D.
6.4D, section 6.4D.
Yeah, so that was the transfer of appropriations. What we did there was we broke it up into, it was just one big paragraph and we broke it up for readability. That was all.
Okay.
All right, now how do I get back here? Where the heck am I?
Sorry.
Can you see it still? You
Yeah.
guys still see the PowerPoint?
Yeah, we're still on it.
Okay, great. All right, so now let's go to Article 7. We actually made no changes, any significant changes at all to Article 7. This was elections and related matters. And Article 8, which was the citizen participation mechanisms. We updated when the city clerk should deliver a copy of the petition to the attorney within 1 business day. We reorganized the section 8.1C for better readability, but there was no change to the content. We lengthened the citizen petition timeframe from 10 to 30 days after passage of the final measure in section 8.2. And then under 8.7B, we added an email distribution of the hearing notice to the petitioners. Article 9, general provisions. We restructured the conflict of interest section just for better readability, but no content change. We added to the computation of time that the first day shall begin at 12 a.m., the day following the triggering event. And then we added a whole new section, which was 9.9, which dealt with the enforcement of charter provisions. This was added to identify and strengthen oversight of charter enforcement. We identified that it was the responsibility of all elected officials to ensure enforcement and compliance of the charter, and that any allegations of wrongdoing would be referred to the council president. Okay, and then Article 10, which is the last article, transitional provisions. We removed all the non-applicable verbiage that doesn't apply anymore, since we've already converted to our form of government. And we just clarified the first statement that the charter shall become fully effective upon ratification by the voters as provided for by Massachusetts general laws. And that was it. So the next slide that I added here was options for the rollout of the recommendations. And one thing we, I'm not sure this is the right flow. Maybe this should be first. Packaging, potential packaging of recommendations, controversial versus non-controversial. This is something we had talked about a while ago, but we could package, a lot of the general changes or recommendations into one single charter question on the ballot. And included in that would be all the, non-controversial things that I've listed here. The controversial items, those would each be presented as a separate charter question. So for example, the town clerk, the appointed versus elected clerk, we would structure the question such that, do you approve of the town clerk remaining elected, yes or no? And the same with the term limits, the stipend, and the recall. So those would be 4 separate questions that citizens would be able to vote on. And there may be more, obviously, because there's more than just these 4. But that's one way of structuring the rollout to give, so it's not an all or nothing. It gives the citizens the ability to choose at a more detailed level what they want and what they don't want.
Yeah, I like the idea of breaking it up into the 2 different categories, because obviously the non-controversial stuff, we need to make changes. I think the town to city might be more controversial than a lot of people realize.
Oh, I know it would be controversial.
Yeah,
Some
I
people
think it's going to catch a lot of people off guard. As far as the other ones, the wording of the actual question, the only thing I would change I'd recommend something like, do you approve of the town charter review committee's recommendation that blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Yeah. So the questions themselves will be worded by obviously by the town council and the attorney.
Right.
I'm not sure we need to actually recommend a wording, but I agree with you, Scott. So this is just this is sort of one view that we have. We could present, say this is, one way of doing it. We certainly want to improve the timeframes and the choices for voters over the last process, because it didn't work well at all. So let's, think a little bit out of the box and think of ways that we can do to improve that. And this is one of those ways. And then the final slide is just talking about where do we go from here. We're going to review with the public and gather feedback. We're going to refine our recommendations based on that feedback and finalize with a second round of voting. That'll happen sometime in May, late May probably. And then once we've completed our second round of voting, then we will deliver our results to the town council in June. And then we're pretty much done. The thought had crossed my mind about whether we actually need to write write a report. And I think that a PowerPoint presentation with backup information can serve as that report. I don't feel like we need to make a whole separate effort just writing a report. Like a giant Word doc that's going to document everything we did.
Could we just do like a cover letter? Dear Town Council, please find attached the redlined and updated version of the town charter that shows the changes, signed, a year's worth of work. Send it away.
Yep.
That's a
Yeah,
great
we can
idea.
do
I
that.
like that.
So this was 18 slides. Normally you allow 2 minutes per slide. So that would be, a half hour, half to 3/4 of an hour.
Well, that first slide, right, should take you 10 seconds. This is who we are, right? Some of it'll average out ish.
Yeah. I mean, if it's a presentation that's 45 minutes to an hour, that's fine. I wouldn't want to go over an hour. Obviously, there'll be questions and comments at the end, but and if we break up some of those slides as we talked about, we're going to actually have more slides, but the same amount of content. So, do you think it's structured the way we want it to? Do you think it flows well? Is there anything else we're missing?
I think you got it perfect. Covered what you needed to cover without going too in depth.
Okay. Thanks, Scott. I appreciate that. All right, so let's talk about how we want to sort of go through this now and fine tune it and make sure that everything I've got in here is accurate and we're not missing anything. Tom made a recommendation that maybe everybody take an article or two and review the charter, the recommendations, and review the slides and just make sure that we're consistent. Does everybody think that's a good idea?
I think that's the best way to do it. Just break it up and let everybody take a piece of the pie.
Okay.
I'm willing to take Article 2 since it's the biggest one. I'll just knock that one out.
Okay, I'm going to just make a list here. So I'm just going to make a 1 through 10.
I'll do 1 and 3. I don't care.
All right, Tom's going to do 1 and 3, and Scott's going to do 2.
I was going to joke and say I'm going to do 10.
You want to do 10? You can do 10, Janet. But you have to do another one too, though.
I know.
Let's go to 4. Town manager. Anybody want to take town manager?
In an effort to move this along, I will also volunteer for 4. I'll do 1, 3, and 4.
And I don't have a preference. Just assign me where you need me.
All right, so 5.
Yeah, you can just put me whatever.
5 is nothing really, but somebody needs to do it. So, anybody for 5?
I'll do 5.
I can do 9. Unless somebody else wants to do 9.
Okay, how about 6? Financial management.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll do 6.
Steve. Okay. 7 is elections. No changes there, so really we don't need anything there. That's an NA. Number 8 is the citizens petition mechanisms.
I'll do that one.
Leonie, okay. And then 9 was going to be Janet, and then 10.
Oh,
Janet,
Jan,
Janet, you want to do that one too?
sure. I mean, I don't think I'll have too much to do in that one.
Okay, so let's make sure we're clear on what everybody needs to do now. So you're going to take, I'm going to send I'm going to send another version of this out probably tomorrow with a few more updates to it that we just talked about, splitting the slides and a few other things. Everybody's going to take the slides associated with the articles that you volunteered for, and you're just going to review. And I'll also send out the latest version of the charter, which you should have already, but I'll include that in the email so that you all have the most current version of the charter with our recommendations. Go through the charter, go through the slides, and just verify that what I have on the slides is accurate. And if anything's missing, you want to add something, you can add something. And then the last thing you want to do is you want to jot down some of the reasons why we made the decisions that we made on those recommendations. And it doesn't have to be a paragraph. You just want to be able to, you know, a couple of brief points. We did this to, you know, improve accountability. We did this because, you know, whatever.
Would that be captured in the, would that be captured in the minutes, that the rationale?
And I'm not sure I understand, Cleone. We mean what I just said is going to be in the minutes?
Yeah, you said that to give a quick reason why we made the change, and if we hadn't taken notes, I'm trying to.
No, I'm gonna put all this in an email, so that when you get the email, you'll get, you know, clarification on what you need to do, and I'll attach the files that you need. The issue is we're going to need to review this next Wednesday night, so you have a week to get this done. And I apologize for that, but our schedule for next month, it's the 1st and 3rd Wednesday, so it's the 5th and the 19th.
Well,
And
my-
Cleone, I think you're gonna have to go, if you don't have notes on the specific meeting, go in and look at the recorded meeting and watch it, because the meeting minutes will not have sufficient detail about the discussion.
Oh, I misunderstood her question. I'm
I
sorry.
think that's what you're asking, Cleone, but that was the way I was gonna do it. Like, if there's something I don't remember, I'm gonna open the video, watch that section of it, and then.
Okay.
But you,
Trouble finding videos. Where are the videos? Like, how do you? I haven't found a video.
I will find them and email them.
Okay, thank you.
yeah, I mean, the minutes, you can look at the minutes, but unfortunately, the minutes just say that we took a vote on section blah, blah, blah. It doesn't say why we voted the way we voted. So I don't think the minutes would be very helpful. So we'll just have to do the best we can on it. Okay, so if everybody's clear on that, I'm going to start sharing my screen. The next thing we need to, so are we done with the presentation for now? Everybody clear? Okay, the next item here is we need to pick some dates for the public forums. I reached out to Mike Dutton about whether or not we can actually meet in person, face-to-face, as opposed to having them on Zoom calls. And he said, no, we still have to do them on Zoom. The state has not given towns the ability to have meetings yet of more than a few people in a room together. So, but that's okay. We did them last time via Zoom, so we can certainly do them again. I'd like to use the same process we used before. We pick the dates, and then I think, Tom, did you get stuff posted on Bridgewater Residents?
Yeah.
Or, huh?
Yes.
Okay, and then something on the town website as well? I remember you were
Yeah, I
working.
emailed somebody, but I don't remember who. I
Was
could
it
figure it out.
It was the IT director, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Or
I don't want
acquisition
to say the wrong name, but yes, I can take care of both of those things once we have dates firmed up.
Okay, and so we just want to make sure that the link for the Zoom will be on the website, I guess, and you can refer to that when you publicize it on social media, because we don't want to put the link on social media. You'll have people from around the country joining. We don't want that. So Tom, you and I can, if you want to, I can help you draft the message that we want to put out there. How did we do the Zoom before? Did Josh do that for us?
I believe so.
All right, I'll reach out to him then, and then he can get the link set up for us. So let's pick some dates. I have a May calendar in front of me here. So we're going to meet next Wednesday, the 5th. We could do it like we did before. We could do two evenings and then a Saturday morning. For the people that, can't make an evening call, we could do a Saturday morning if that works.
Yeah, that should work.
I know this is kind of atypical, but would a weekday morning, weekday evening, and then a Saturday morning work?
Say that again, a weekday morning?
Yeah, like an early morning weekday, evening weekday, and then a Saturday.
I'm open to that. I guess the weekday morning, though, I mean, how do you pick the day?
Yeah, I mean, I was more thinking like people that work B shift, if they wanted to get involved, it's tough.
Oh, I see. Second shift, B shift. That's okay. Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, and if no one shows up, fine. We still have the other two. We could even do 3. Like, I'd volunteer to do the morning one solo. Like, I don't care.
Okay. So I think we should start these the week of the 10th. Now we could either do all 3 that one week, or we could spill into the following week. Keep in mind that we're going to get feedback, and then we're going to have to regroup, discuss the feedback, and decide if we want to make any changes to our recommendations based on the feedback. So our next meeting is the 19th. It would be nice to be able to have these forums completed so that we can then discuss them on the 19th. That makes sense?
Yes.
Yes, that makes sense to me.
Okay. So you want to try, you want to go like a Tuesday the morning, the 11th?
Who's going to be able to, who will be doing that?
I will do it. I will
Oh, I
make
can
it
do it.
happen.
I can do it too, Tom. So, whoever's available on Tuesday morning, the 11th, that would be one. We could do Thursday night, the 13th, and then do Saturday morning, the 15th.
Real quick, Ed, on 5/11, what time are you thinking?
10 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m.
Do 10?
What are you
Yeah, I think
thinking,
that's fine.
Tom?
I just think giving the opportunity, I mean, night stuff can be hard to feel, especially, they've got childcare, whatever. Trying to make it as well-rounded as we can.
That's a great thought. I mean, I wouldn't have thought of that. So thank you for mentioning that.
I was thinking 10 a.m. might be better if people are getting kids on school buses, everything. 9 a.m. may not work if you're trying to capture somebody who can't do it at night, but could do it in the morning. But if they have kids, 9's not gonna necessarily work either.
Okay. So if everybody's agreeable, let's do 10 a.m. on the 11th. And how about Thursday night, the 13th at 7?
That'd get people time to get home, have supper. Same with me.
And then the 15th, Saturday, we could do another 10 a.m. If that works. I mean, obviously, everybody doesn't need to attend every one that we have, but I mean, it would be nice. It would be nice to get as many committee members available during those 3 timeframes to participate and hear the questions that get asked and clarify and things like that. So, so is everybody okay with the 10 a.m. on the 11th, 7 p.m. on the 13th, and 10 a.m. on the 15th?
Yeah, it sounds like a good schedule to me.
Yes.
Great. Okay. All right. So Tom and I will talk offline as far as, getting it on social media. We have 2 Bridgewater Facebook groups, right? Bridgewater Residents and Bridgewater 02324. We have the town website. Is there any other medium that media that we want to put this out on? We could ask Merrill Lee. She has some sort of an email distribution list that I think she helped us last time. She sends, if we send her something, she'll send it out to all her folks.
That sounds good.
Email is good too, because not everybody goes on Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, I can also send it to the library director. He's got an extensive email list, and also Emily Williams at the Senior Center has a big list for all the people that live in Stone Meadow and High Pond. So, get a lot of the older folks who might want to tune in. So,
yeah.
Okay, that's good. I think we'll do the best we can to get the word out, and we'll see who shows up.
I would say, Ed, if you're going to email the library director, if we could do that like tomorrow, they're having their annual book sale this weekend, so they might be able to put up a flyer or a sign about it. I know that's stupid fast, but just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm gonna be.
Yeah.
I'm not sure we'd be able to get the message all done by tomorrow. I mean, if you want to pull up the one you had before, and you and I can talk in the morning, and we want to tweak it, then maybe we can get it.
All right, yeah. I mean, or even if we put up a sign that says like, look for the upcoming public forum on the town charter.
On these dates and times.
Yeah.
More details will follow or something.
Yeah, something simple like that. You don't want a lot of words in a flyer anyway if you're going to put it up, right? So.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, great. So then we'll hold those 3 forums, and then we'll regroup on the 19th, and we'll discuss any more changes. I did, just to let you know, I got an email the other day from Carlton Hunt, and he was saying that the last version that he looked at with the charter, of course, everything's in bright green because that's what we're using to highlight our changes. He said we had too many instances of the word city. Everywhere you looked, you saw city, 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 So his suggestion was, and we can include this later on when we have a discussion. I'm just telling you about it now so you can think about it. He said we can refer at the very beginning of the charter, we can say the city of Bridgewater, known as Bridgewater. And then we don't have to use city at all. We can just say Bridgewater. If that's, but to my mind, then you're going to see Bridgewater everywhere too. You're going to, every place you're going to see city, you're going to say Bridgewater. So, I mean, right now, the way it reads, it's town everywhere. So
Well, it's like city manager, you're not gonna put Bridgewater manager, you would put city manager or town manager. Maybe
that's,
talking about things like that.
yeah. So we don't have to discuss it now. I'm just saying that will be one item that came up recently. We've got the library trustees, if they send us back some changes. And then also I happened to be, as I was reading through the charter, you remember how we made a change to 4.1 where we said, instead of saying serve at the pleasure, the council
Serve at the will.
serves, yeah, we changed it to serve at the will. There's something in section 2.3.a that says, it still says serve at the pleasure. Let me see if I can tell you what that is. And I wondered if we should go back and change that as well. Just bear with me. I'll just read it real quick to you.
Yeah.
So section 2-3A is the election. Is that the right section? Serve at the pleasure.
It's there. I see. I have a copy and it's there.
Yeah, it says the council, the city council president and vice president serve at the pleasure of the city council. So we might want to consider going and changing that later on. So anyways, if anybody finds any other things that we want to add to our list for discussion on the 19th, then we'll have the opportunity there to make any final changes that we want to make. All right. So that concludes new business for tonight. We have our schedule. We have our updated prezo. The next item on the agenda is the public forum, public comment. Sorry, I don't see any citizens have joined, so I guess we won't have anybody speaking tonight. Action items for the next meeting. Anybody have anything they want to add for discussion on the 19th? Other than what we've already talked about?
So we're going to be talking about the public forum feedback and finalizing things. If going through the chat, if I see something, like I'm looking at something right now, I can't remember if we discussed it or not. If I see that, is that something we can discuss?
Yep.
At that
Yep.
time?
If any questions that anybody has, anything you can't remember, something, was it added, was it not added? That would be, that meeting on the 19th is going to be an opportunity to sort of really tweak the charter, tighten it up, finalize it. If we have time that night, we'll do some voting. Otherwise, we may have to do our final voting on the following at our next meeting, which would be June 2nd. Okay. So then after June 2nd, we should be done, and then we get scheduled on the for the town council meeting. I'll have to find out in June when they're meeting. See if we can get on the agenda right now, or, get on there now as a placeholder, so we're not pushing it off to July. Okay, so any,
Just real quick, we don't have to vote on these public forum dates, do we?
we can if we'd like.
I don't think we have to, because meetings can be set by the committee chair.
Okay, yep, then all good.
I mean, tonight has been really more of just reaching consensus, and I'm fine with that. Everybody's weighed in, given their opinions, so I think we're fine. Does anyone disagree with anything that we've said tonight, or any disagreement on the dates or the process moving forward?
Not me.
No.
Nope.
Well, let me ask everybody individually then. Darren, are you okay with where we are right now?
Yes, but so next meeting, we're going to review everything that everyone has taken ownership of and finalize everything that meeting.
On the 5th, correct?
Yes, so that everything will be, that'll be everything be final, no matter what, because there's going to be more discussion, so we still would have to find a way to finalize everything after further discussions.
So what we're finalizing on the 5th, which is our next meeting next week, is we're finalizing the presentation for the public forum.
Yes,
That's what we're finalizing.
right.
What we're gonna do on the 19th is that's when we're gonna take any remaining feedback that we get from the public forums, plus any additional clarifications that you all might want to make, things that you found that maybe we missed or that you want to change in the charter. That meeting on the 19th is when we're going to hopefully come up with a final view. And then something that we can vote on either that night or we'll vote on the June 2nd. Is that clear?
Yeah, so for next meeting, it's just for the PowerPoint,
Correct.
just to finalize that.
Yep. Okay, Cleone,
Everything is good with me.
okay, thank you. Tom,
Yeah, I'm good.
Steve,
Yep, same, all good.
okay, and Scott?
Yep.
Great. All right. Okay, so if anyone would like to motion to adjourn, so be it.
I, Thomas Golden, will motion to adjourn the meeting.
Okay,
Scott Pitt, a second.
thank you. Any further discussion?
Nope.
Okay, very good. Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I'll hopefully get that email out to you sometime tomorrow, okay?
Ed, we just need a roll call vote.
That's right, we do.
Yeah.
All righty, Janet.
Yes.
Thank you. Darren,
Yes.
Cleone,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Stephen,
Yes.
Scott.
Yes.
All right, it's unanimous. The meeting is adjourned.
All right, take care.
Thank you all.
Good night, everybody.
Take care. Bye.